Hello and welcome to Carter's Bracket Breakdown. Over the next few minutes, we're going to be reviewing the latest bracket that I just released and for making our predictions for who's going to go to the Final Four and win the national championship. But first, when you saw the overall bracket, Carter, what were your overall thoughts on the matchups, the seed number 1 seeds, the bubble teams? What were your thoughts on everything? The number 2 seeds, wow, they are basically the 1 seeds of this tournament. I only see one seed making the Final Four, and the rest will be 2 seeds. The 2s have never been this good. They've been playing with a ton of momentum. The 1 seeds are good, but the 2 seeds are insane. I cannot wait to see what they do in this tournament. I think it's going to be a year of a 2 seeds. I think we have a 2 seed national champ, but we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. Let's get into this bracket. Enough chit chatter. The number 1 overall seed, the Florida Gators. What are your thoughts on that? Well, they won the SEC tournament, 26-4. They are definitely a very good team, and they'll get by the winner of Coppin State, Middle Tennessee. The next game, so the Michigan-Oregon State matchup is going to be an interesting one. Florida always seems to have trouble when they play Michigan. Oregon State, though, could also give them some trouble because they've been pretty much under the radar all year, but this is a tough team. I mean, I might actually go with Oregon State in this one. I mean, most people would pick Michigan, but I might go with the Beavers here. It's going to be an interesting 8-9 game, that's for sure. Oklahoma, Cal Poly. It's kind of a down year for the 5-12s. And then the 5s look clearly better in the 12 seeds this year. I have to pick Oklahoma here. I mean, UCLA, they have NBA talent. Like, they'll get by Louisiana Monroe. But I would be intrigued if we get UCLA, Oklahoma round 2. Pretty evenly matched teams. Winner plays Florida in the Sweet 16. I personally have UCLA winning that game, but you know, either team could win that game. Let's just put it that way. Bottom half of the bracket, you got the Big East regular season tournament champion Missouri, 28-4. They were too low in the poll to be a 1 seed, but they are definitely probably the hottest team in the country right now. They get McNeese State. They should win that. The matchup I'm intrigued to see, though, most in this region is Ohio State-Utah. Utah won the Pac-10 tournament really just to get this far. Ohio State's a very experienced team, though, and I might have to go with the Buckeyes in that game, despite all the momentum that Utah's playing with. Pittsburgh, Hartford in the 3-14. Pittsburgh should win that. Pittsburgh's kind of an under-the-radar 3 seed. They are a very, very deep and athletic team that is capable of going very deep. I mean, personally, I have them losing to Missouri in the Sweet 16, but Pitt is under the radar. They might not be under the radar for long, but we'll see what happens over these few weeks. And you got, wow, look at this. Providence, Kentucky. Kentucky bubble team, but they got in, and they're always capable of doing something. Providence, though, is a really strong 6 seed, 23-9. They've lost to Villanova in the Big East. They lost to Missouri in the Big East semis, but this is still a very, very strong team that I think could be a dangerous sleeper team. Winner of that, but Kentucky could be a sleeper as well. Both of them are really trending dark horse picks to maybe upset Pittsburgh in the second round because of the matchup it was. And my Final Four pick out of this region is Missouri. Missouri I know it's hard to go against the number 1 seed Florida, but Missouri is just playing outstanding basketball. They've knocked out the number 1 team in the country, who's not a number 1 seed, which is insane. Missouri is just playing with an absolute momentum. I have to take them all the way to the Final Four. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida got it done, but Missouri has to be my pick out of that region because of the strong 2 seed. Now let's move on to the region where Louisville is the top seed. They open up with UNC Asheville. That will be an easy win there. Syracuse, UAB, an 8-9 game. A possible Louisville-Syracuse rematch round 2 looming. If they get there, I don't think they get by UAB. I mean, UAB has shown that they can beat some of the top teams in the country this year. And so I think I don't think that matchup happens. I think UAB knocks Syracuse out. Then you look at the 5-12, Auburn, American, like the defending national champs against American. I mean, none of the 12-5s are very likely, but if there was one that'd be the most likely, it would be this one, an Auburn American. American has really had a pretty good season. Auburn is better than last year, but that doesn't mean they're invincible, so. But I still have Auburn winning that game. And I think they have a rematch with Alabama, who I have beating Missouri, Kansas City. It'd be really interesting to see which Alabama team gets to the Sweet 16, Alabama or Auburn. Which Alabama team shows up could make a big difference. This team has had some pretty ugly and embarrassing losses this year, but they've also looked at times like a team that can get to the Final Four and maybe win a national championship. So, depending on which team shows up in this tournament, may make a big difference. The bottom half of the bracket, oh, look at this. This is the best 2 seed I've ever seen. 30-6, Michigan State, Big Ten regular season and tournament champs. They're my pick to win the national title. I'm saying it right now. They will beat St. Francis of New York. Period. They will. And then, so next game, Mississippi State, Colorado State. This is just Colorado State's fourth appearance. I have to give Mississippi State the edge because of the experience. Colorado State's just happy to be here. So then you got Boston College against Akron. I might have to go. I'm going with the big upset here. I'm going with Akron, and here's why. Akron definitely has the right matchup. Boston College, capable of going to the Final Four or losing in the first round. I have to go with a big upset. I am going with Akron there. Then I have USC over Tulsa, but that's going to be another one of those interesting 6-11 games. The 6-11s are possible. Each year in my tournament have been common for upsets. First year, 4 11 seeds. Second year, 3 11 seeds. Maybe only 2 happened this year, but I think that 6-11 line is very dangerous. And like I said, Michigan State's my Final Four pick to win that bracket. Very easy. I have them beating Alabama in the regional final, who I have upsetting Louisville. Louisville is just not a team that I see as a Final Four team this year, although they're a 1 seed. Let's move over to the region where Kansas is the number 1 seed. They open with South Dakota State, who's in for the first time ever, and that should be a win there. Then you got San Diego State, San Francisco, Battle of California there. Neither is I'm going to go with the Aztecs here, but the Dons definitely do have a great chance. I just think the Aztecs have just overall had a better season than the Dons have. Then you got Xavier and Pepperdine. Again, these 12 seeds aren't very good this year, so I have to go with Xavier here, just because they match up very well. Then you got the best. You got Cal State Bakersfield against Marshall. Bakersfield 26-5, their highest seed ever is a 4, their third straight tournament appearance and third ever. I think this is the year they get some wins under their belt. I think they can beat Marshall and Xavier and get to the Sweet 16 before probably losing pretty badly to Kansas. But this is a team that can win a few games this year, and especially with their good draw. Xavier's not a fantastic 5 seed, so the only reason I have them advancing is because the 12s are just trash this year. Bottom half of the bracket, West Virginia, Chattanooga. West Virginia is not a team I can really see going to the Final Four, as good as they've been this year. I do have them beating Chattanooga in that game, though. And then Baylor, UNLV. This is a toss-up game. Both these teams can beat. Well, winner of this, I have beating West Virginia. I personally have Baylor winning this. I have them knocking out West Virginia because I actually have Baylor going all the way to the Elite 8 because I have them upsetting Clemson in the Sweet 16. So this is a dangerous Baylor team. Clemson, Eastern Washington. I was tempted in this game to pick Eastern Washington, but then Clemson's experience edge, I have to give them. But Eastern Washington does have a great shot, and then I have another upset to pick, Loyola, Illinois over North Carolina. I don't think Clemson and Carolina will meet again. I think Loyola, Illinois knocks Carolina out. I think that 11-6 line is just a really trendy upset pick, so I have to go Loyola in that one. And, oh, wait. Final Four pick is Kansas, because they're the 1-1 seed I have going to the Final Four. Because they got a really good draw here. They got a really easy draw all the way through to get to Indianapolis. They got a great draw there. I have Kansas win that. Let's move over to our final region. The number 1 seed here, Washington. They'll beat Prairie View. Pretty obvious. The 8-9, 2 new teams, Georgia Tech, Nevada. I am really excited to watch that game. Both of those teams actually have a good chance against Washington. I'm going to go with Nevada in this game. But, Georgia Tech, you can't count out here. This is a great 8-9 game. Then you got Creighton and Siena, the 5-12. Siena's pretty good, but I'm going with Creighton here. Siena, they just weren't exactly special this year. Oregon against A10 tournament champion Drake. I have to go Oregon there. The Oregon Ducks, they're definitely... And a possible rematch with Washington in the Sweet 16, which I do see happening. And I think Oregon knocks Washington off to come out of the top half of the bracket. Bottom half of the bracket, Villanova and Winthrop. Villanova should obviously win that. They're the number 1 team in the country, and they're a 2 seed, and they did not get a 1 seed. That's makes no sense. Apparently, the polls no longer matter. Cal and Texas Tech, that should be an interesting matchup. Cal has range, and Texas Tech has size, but I think the range of Cal will be too much. Georgetown, Tennessee Martin. I like Tennessee Martin to pull an upset this year. Georgetown has really been Georgetown this year. They did it, man, this year. They haven't impressed me that much. The Skyhawks, I think, will pull off a huge shocker there. And then you got the last game, LSU St. Louis, which is going to be it's going to be interesting to see how this game unfolds. Both these teams have been pretty erratic this year. I mean, I'm going to go with LSU, but St. Louis definitely could pull the upset. Then let's see, the Final Four. The first 1 seed will play the fourth 1 seed. So So Missouri would play Villanova, who I have winning this bracket. And I have Villanova getting revenge on Missouri for that Big East title game loss. Then the other one, I have Michigan State versus Kansas. 2-1. I think Michigan State will be too much for Kansas. So that sets up a Michigan State-Villanova championship matchup. I have to say, the Spartans are my national champs. Like I said, they are absolutely on fire, and that's just what I'm going to go with. But I've been wrong in the past, so we'll see what happens over these next few weeks. Enjoy the madness, everybody. Take care.